Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. Today is episode 134 and we're continuing our series of running through every Premier League club in build-up for the 23-24 season. We're going to look at the club, look at their performance last season and rebuild the squad where necessary. Today it's Manchester City. Now you'd think on paper there's not a lot of work to do here, but actually they may well have a lot to do. They've got a lot of players who may be leaving, namely their captain, Ilkay Gundogan, who we'll get onto in just a moment. But yeah, first we'll touch on last season then. Very, very impressive season.
They were right, weren't they?
They were decent.
They did alright. Could have been better. Didn't win the Carroll Cup.
No, that is a great point now. Stopped by
Didn't
Nathan
win the Community
Jones.
Shield.
Nope, lost that as well. Anyway, Man City, incredibly impressive. One of the best sides we've ever seen. They obviously won the treble, in case you didn't know. But yeah, they played overall really, really well. Their style of football. They started a little bit shaky, didn't they, towards the start of the season? But once Pep implemented his 3-2-4-1, there wasn't much stopping them. And I don't think they lost one game in the last 25 to Brentford, I think it was.
They are just...
That's about it.
Just ridiculous at football. Yeah. Absolutely
ridiculous. So consistent. And they just dominated everyone Honestly, they played against.
I don't get how a football team can be that good at football.
They so perfectly combine that Spanish tiki-taka, that quick passing, that finding the space with the English physicality and aggression. And I think for me it's such a perfect blend, a perfect fusion of tactical styles, of tactical principles, that it creates this frighteningly good team. And to be honest, I don't really see anyone beating them either next year.
I mean, they're in their own league this year. It's going to take a lot for them to not be in the same situation come the end of next season.
I think, Liverpool, they're going to need to completely rebuild their midfield, so that's going to take time for them to build into that. Chelsea have still got to completely revamp their squad. We spoke about that the other week, so go check those out, both the Chelsea and the Liverpool app. But they're probably the greatest competition. Maybe Newcastle, if they get their shit together. Not if they get their shit together, but if they add one or two more players. Yeah. Manchester United, I don't really think are there to fight for a title. Arsenal, I think, will slip, though maybe they'll surprise me because they have brought in Havertz, have brought in Rice, close to signing Timber, so some good business there. But Manchester City, well, they were just incredible, but they have got a bit of work to do. Should we start with the contracts?
Yes.
Now,
not too many.
Well, some key players though. 2023, the summer now gone, of course. July the 1st, players have left, and Ilkay Gundogan is the only one in Manchester City to have left. He'll be joining Barcelona. This is their captain, their treble-winning captain, the guy who lifted all three of the FA Cup, the Premier League and the Champions League. How do you replace not only what he does for the side, but what he brings to the dressing room?
They'll find a way. I mean, in terms of on the pitch, they've already got players on the bench who could probably step into that role. Or they'll go and buy someone. Simple as that. That's what Man City do. And in terms of dressing room presence, they've got so much of it that yes, he was a key figure, but they've got so many other players that can stand in that role.
I don't know, it's hard to bring in a captain I think Gundogan is a great leader. We saw that he's motivated, he's good at getting the players motivated for what he wants to achieve. But also he's a magical player. He's so good at what he does, because what he does for Manchester City is he makes those late runs into the box. He gets a lot of goals in that role as well. But he's also very creative. He's just a really talented player and really tactically aware and diverse. Therefore, I think he is incredibly crucial. But they can live without him, and I think they will obviously learn.
Even the captaincy, it's voted for.
Yeah, but still, Ilkay Gundogan is the best leader of the club.
Yeah, but they'll vote someone else who'll do as good of his job as he
Who would you say should be the next City captain?
My guess would be Ruben Diaz or De Bruyne.
I was going to say.
I wouldn't say.
I was going to say Diaz or Stones.
Yeah, Stones could be Rodri.
De Bruyne was the captain the year before, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he voted in the year before. I
wouldn't vote him.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone like that really. There's loads of options. Ederson even, you could say.
I wouldn't.
There's so many players you could give it to that I think would do the same job. And in terms of ability on the pitch, they will find a player that is better, or at least
you're not going to find someone who's better. Okay, Gundogan's arguably the best midfielder in the world, other than De Bruyne.
Or will go on to be better.
Yeah, okay. Maybe. Anyway, they have then also got some transfers, or some contracts expiring in 2024, namely Scott Carson, Yangel Herrera, don't think that'll be too bothered about those two, but also Rico Lewis and Kyle Walker. I don't think Walker's a massive problem. He may even leave this summer. Apparently he's pushing for a move, interest from both Saudi Arabia and Sheffield
Again,
United.
Very replaceable, and they've got a lot of centre halves.
They do. Well, he played obviously right back by trade, can cover in the back three, of course.
A bit more of a bit part role coming into last season.
Indeed, he doesn't do what they need from a defender really. They need, obviously he does offer them a lot defensive in terms of his pace. He was massive in that final against Vinicius. Though everyone's saying he's amazing at one-on-ones, he's not. He's actually quite poor, but he did well in that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kyle Walker, he's going to be a big miss. He's been at City for a while now, been a key figure over the last few years. So, yeah, to lose him, it's going to be a bit of a shock. And you're losing Ilkay Gundogan as well.
I think they'll be
faces going.
Yeah.
But it's a very thin squad. Arguably the thinnest squad in the Premier League. It's what Pep Guardiola likes to have, is not a lot of players. It is, and obviously it helps with the fact you don't have to give loads of different minutes. You have to spread the minutes around. But it does mean if you pick up injuries or have players move on like you are here, that does create a bit of a problem, because then you've got to bring in loads to replace.
Yeah.
Him. Then Rico Lewis, obviously we saw him start to play in the pivot with Rodri. That was how he initially tried to build that pivot, was the right back, Rico Lewis inverting into the two. Obviously changed that, Pep Guardiola, to go for John Stones pushing forward. I think that worked really nicely, but Lewis is still a quality player, and I think he does have a clear future with Manchester City. I think he'll only develop as a footballer over the next few years. Already, he has such an incredible tactical understanding for the game. The fact he came in to a Premier League side, he'd never played football at that level before, and he instantly understood exactly what Guardiola wanted from him, exactly what he was asking from him. So, for me, he's a crucial player for the future. He clearly likes to keep his youth players. We've seen that with Phil Foden, of course, developing him through the first team. So, yeah, I think we'll see that with Rico Lewis as well. You'd imagine they'll get that contract signed very soon.
There should be a deal in place soon, and he'll be stupid not to sign a new contract.
Yeah.
Brilliant. He can sit around at City for a few years, playing a bit part role, starting every week, just win so many trophies.
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't done that already. I'd have thought after they've hit this, barely had in the first team, they'd have sorted that out, but maybe they haven't. I've just missed the announcement. But when I researched it, his contract is expiring in 2024 currently. But so that is all for the contract expiring.
Not too many misses.
Shall we get onto the squad keep or sell?
Yes.
Right.
Might one of the shortest squad keep sell, as mentioned earlier. It's a very thin squad.
It is. There's not a lot of players to go through, but there are some big decisions to make. So City, a lot of players linked with moves away, and we'll start in the goalkeeping area. Well, there's not too much change, not too much controversy for Man City. First up, Scott Carson, contract expires next season. Do you think that will call time then?
Yeah, it'll keep around for a year. He'll probably retire, and you can go find another bang average ex-England goalkeeper, really old English keeper to get your homegrown quota.
Yeah, to be fair, City probably don't need to fulfil the homegrown quota. They've got quite a few English players.
They do, to be fair.
Could be helpful, though, if you do get that third choice goalkeeper. Though maybe James Trafford could come and do that. Not that I think they'll probably sell him. He's not on this list, but we'll do Trafford as we've spoken about him. Would you sell?
Yeah, he'll want to leave as well. He knows he can start for a Premier League side.
That's 10-15 mil you can pocket. That helps with managing FFP. That helps with funding transfers. Not that Man City have any problem with that.
Finances
Does help with that as well, as you can obviously offset the FFP. But yeah, so then Stefan Ortega.
Okay, he's a fine backup. He showed this year he was absolutely sound.
Really good player. Really, really good player, I think, Ortega. He's a fine goalkeeper, good shot-stopping ability, also really good with the ball at his feet, which is helpful for Manchester City. Of course, they need a goalkeeper who can replace, not to the same extent, but to a similar extent, what Ederson does. Obviously, Ederson, staying around.
100%.
You'd imagine he'll be
very good goalkeeper.
staying. I don't really know who City would get, because I think Ederson, maybe Onana, is better with his feet, but Ederson's probably one of the best goalkeepers with his feet.
And he doesn't need to save anything anyway, because City stopped 95% of his shots.
Yeah, they don't really. Yeah, if they're fine enough, it doesn't matter if he concedes one. I would say City concede too many, but doesn't really not really a problem, is it? But yeah. And then Zach Steffen had a good loan spell at Middlesbrough. I could see him making that move as well. I think there'll be suitors.
He looked decent,
probably Premier League, top of the Championship sort of end.
Yeah.
I think, clubs will be interested because he is good. Apparently, he is linked with, who did I see? Leicester City, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting because obviously, I think Danny Ward and Iverson, Iverson, would be adequate goalkeepers for the Championship. But I do think Stefan's an upgrade on both of them, so that's probably why they'd go for him.
Even though adequate in the Championship, I'd have watched both of them last year and gone, I'd put anyone in goal. Jack Butland.
No.
Rather Joe Hart.
Definitely not.
Yes.
Not current Joe Hart.
Ward and Iverson were awful last year.
Yeah, but they're not Premier League goalkeepers, but they would be absolutely fine.
But I think Zach Steffen would be fine in the Championship, and he'd be fine to make a step up when they eventually get promoted again.
It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Obviously, Manchester City's former coach is going over there, so that makes a lot of sense for that. He's worked with Zach Steffen, so that does make a lot of sense.
And City don't need him.
City definitely don't need him. Yeah, moving on then, we have the defenders, first of which is Kyle Walker. Now, I've spoken about him a little bit. Do you think he is fine to let leave?
Yeah, 100%. Because he doesn't start, he's a bit part player, and bit part players are easily replaceable.
Not easily replaceable, but because you can't replace that experience and the cohesion he has in the squad, that's not very easily replaceable.
Okay,
but
in terms of on the pitch,
you can get a player that does a very similar role. I would agree with that. Not that they necessarily need one, because they can play Akanji as the right back. They could play Rico Lewis, maybe even if they wanted to. But it doesn't really matter who plays the right back, because it's just got to be a centre half who can then slot in. So they could play Diaz there. They've got options. John Stones.
What a season this man had.
Should have the Ballon d'Or.
Honestly, I think he's
should be a Ballon d'Or winner. He is ridiculously good. Did you watch him in the Champions League final? I mean, you did.
Yeah. In a world where only fans exist, it's very hard for him to do that. But
don't care, mate. He's been the best player in the world this season.
I think he's definitely up there. What a season! Reinvigorated as a.
Reinvented works as well.
Reinvented as a. What's it called? Defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
And he was outstanding.
Yeah, I think his dribbling numbers, the fact that he was second only to Lionel Messi in terms of dribbling numbers in a UCL final, says a lot about how he has completely been moulded into this new role. I think it's really interesting seeing. So in the final, obviously, we know Pep tried to use a diamond field, didn't really work, but it was interesting to see Stones in a higher position. Because it's intriguing to see how he operated like that. Obviously getting higher up the pitch, getting into more attacking areas, he's in and around the box quite a lot. Often when they play those two DMs, he is a little deeper. I think he does that role really well, because he's good with the ball at his feet, very composed. Obviously, as a centre-half, you need to be that anyway, but playing in that DM role, he's adapted really well. Strong in the tackle, good under pressure. I think he's done really well for me, and you could expect to see him continuing in that DM slot. So, great season for Stones, but you probably do now need to bring in a centre half to replace the gap that you've left there. Benjamin Mendy has left the club after all the scandal that has followed him over the last few seasons.
Good.
Yeah, good riddance, certainly. Up next, it is Aymeric Laporte.
He barely featured. I know he's injured, but he barely featured.
For me, he is sellable.
Yeah.
Because you get a tidy profit, and as we know, City are very much interested in a good young centre-half.
Yeah.
If selling Laporte, if moving him out of the registration and moving him off your books means you can bring in the player who we'll talk about when we get into improvements, I just think that's massive. I don't think Laporte is too much of a miss. I think he's a fine centre-half. Obviously, it's good to have left-sided centre-halves, but now that you've got Nathan Ake, who can start there every week, and the player they're looking to bring in is left-sided, I think Laporte would be struggling for game time.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's probably a sell.
And the weak suitors, Spanish clubs, French clubs, European clubs, a lot of people want him.
Yeah, I could see a lot of interest in him. You probably get around that £20 million mark, maybe even 30 million if you get the right.
If you're lucky,
if you get enough clubs competing. He's still a fantastic centre-half. He is only 29.
Only 29, yeah. I think you can get a decent price.
He's now entering his prime, really.
I was like, you can probably get quite a lot of money for him.
Yeah, depends obviously where the interest lies. But I could definitely see someone like PSG maybe looking to bring him in, especially if they move on Presnel Kimpembe. So, and they've already lost Ramos, so centre-halves will be a key for them. So yeah, players, it's going to be interesting to see where Laporte goes. Could see him moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Ake, I think this is an easy keep.
100%. What a season he had.
Yeah.
A lot of players, especially defensively.
I have to say, I didn't really rate him too highly.
No.
Before this season, I think he's always been a fine centre-half, but when he originally moved from Bournemouth to Manchester City, I mean, that is quite the jump. It's not a jump that many other players make.
No.
So he's dealt with that really, really well. I think it shows, and again, Chelsea's Academy is a sensation if they actually hold on to the players. But Nathan Ake, a really talented player, great with the ball at his feet, good left-side centre-half, decent heading ability as well. I think he
Really good
suits
season.
exactly what City want from him.
Yeah.
And he's done well out on left back. Obviously, then inverting into that situational back three, it works so well.
Yes.
Works
yeah.
so well. Manuel Akanji.
Again, what a season this man had.
Argument for signing of the season, I think. If
Oh,
you
no.
forget Haaland, I think he is. Who'd you put above him? Certainly not Richarlison.
No, I'm trying to think. Casemiro.
No. He got sent off more than he did anything good. No, Casemiro did well. But for me, the fact that's a £70 million transfer, Akanji was something like 25 million. And he's come in and played a huge role in a treble-winning campaign. And he's just been flawless. I can't think of a single mistake he's made.
No.
This is a podcast, by the way. You can
Yeah,
sit there and stand silent.
I'm trying to think of
Okay.
players that I haven't put in my signing of the season.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There would be a few, but I'd be a bit bored if I see anything I know. Yeah, he was just brilliant. And again, similar to Akanji, so similar to Ake, similar to Stones, just really, really solid season. Definite keeps.
It's a certain improvement from where he was at the start of the campaign as well, with all three of those players. Ruben Diaz.
Again.
I think he's very much coming to his own this season, hasn't he, Ruben Diaz?
But might as well keep repeating ourselves.
Yeah.
Outstanding season.
Yeah, a really good defender. You're not going to be looking to sell him, I don't think.
Thing is for me, and this is what I hate, is he was better this season than the year he won the Player of the Year.
Yeah.
How he won that was an absolute joke.
And Championship Defender of the season.
Awful, absolute disgrace.
I think, this year he was really impressive.
Yeah.
I have to say, I thought he was overrated in 2021, but I think now he's starting to prove his quality.
He was very good.
And a potential leader for Manchester City, could soon take the armband from Gundogan. And probably got another good few years, probably 5 years, 6 years, 7 years maybe.
City were absolutely solid, and it is down to all the players we've just named.
Yeah, shaky at times, but I think that's more a fault of the system rather than a fault of the players. Obviously, the system they play does mean they could get caught out on the counter, but overall they tend to be all right.
Yeah.
Sergio Gomez.
He is perfect.
He is good. I just don't know where you play him. Because he's a left back, which is fine when you had inverted left backs, but now that you have a left back who slots into the back three, it doesn't really work there. He could play on the left wing, and he has done that a lot for the Spain U21s we're watching currently in the U21 Euros. In fact, he is in action tomorrow night, I think, at the time of recording, a couple of days ago when this goes out. Maybe in action tonight when this goes out, if Spain have got through. But overall, a really talented player. I just don't know where he fits. So maybe loan him out. I think he could be good for City in the future, but I don't know where Guardiola plays him.
That's a good point.
He's not going to be rotating, because if you try to play him on the left wing, right, that means that you're either going to take minutes off Grealish or Foden, which is not ideal, or Cole Palmer. You're directly blocking Cole Palmer's development by playing a left back there.
Yeah.
It doesn't benefit the team in any way. It doesn't benefit Cole Palmer. Probably doesn't even benefit Sergio Gomez, because he's getting exposure to football, but in the wrong position. Yeah. So, for me, a loan move is the most apt. I do think that he may not be best pleased if he is. It was time of Man City last summer. He's barely played, and now he's going out on loan. But I think he'll prefer that to playing barely any minutes.
Yeah.
So probably a low move, I'd say, for Sergio Gomez. City fans, who see him every week, maybe you'll have a differing opinion. In which case, get involved in the comments below. Yes. Give us your thoughts. Rico Lewis. I was already spoken about him. He is brilliant.
Give him a new contract. Very, very good young player. Has really stepped up to the Premier League superbly.
Yeah.
And Friday deserves all the plaudits he's got.
Yeah, it surprised me at the time when his first matches how calm, how composed he looks in the Premier League. Because often you see Premier League debutants and players that haven't played any top flight football or any professional football before. He's never played professional men's football, and he stepped up perfectly. He was amazing. He was so composed, so calm, and just excellent across the board. So he deserves a real credit to that, because a lot of young players look erratic and look off the beat a little bit, and often go missing. But he's really shone when he's been given the minutes. So
really well.
Well done, Rico Lewis. On to midfielders now. Kevin De Bruyne.
Again, I think it's a keep.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite an obvious one, isn't it? Kevin De Bruyne is a brilliant footballer.
I don't think he was as good this year as we've seen him in previous years, but I still think he's very good.
I would very much argue the complete opposite. He has been sublime this season. His numbers are through the roof. Yes, his goal tally's gone down, but he broke the Premier League assist record. I think that is massively down to a certain Norwegian, but yeah, he has been at his creative best this season, Kevin De Bruyne. Just have a look at his Premier League numbers. 7 goals, 16 assists in 32 appearances.
So the last couple of seasons.
So last season he did 15 goals but 8 assists. So his goal tally's definitely gone down. In fact, it's his highest assisting a season since 1920. We've got 20 assists.
Yeah.
I think he's been excellent.
He has, but I just don't think it's been his best year.
Okay. It's how you define best, really.
He's obviously still magnificent. I'm not saying he's doing complete shit, but he's still in world class, but not as world class as he has.
Champions League, he 10 games, 2 goals, 6 assists is his best Champions League numbers of his career. Yeah, I think he's had a really, really good season.
Oh yeah,
he's been fairly faultless throughout it, and yeah, I think if he can keep that up next season, keep supplying Haaland with the amount of chances that he is, then you could do all right, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because Haaland will finish them, we know that much.
Yeah.
So yeah. Next up, Mateo Kovacic has just joined Manchester City.
Signing this I think this is another underrated signing from City.
I think he's a very good player. I just don't really know whether he perfectly fits City's system, but
I thought you said I saw something last year banging on how he'd do so well.
Last year?
I swear, how's your...
I think he's a really good player, and to a certain extent he will replace what Gundogan brings. He is a great roaming playmaker. He carries that ball forward, similar to what John Stones actually does right now. But for me, his goals and assists aren't what you need from that 8 role. So I don't really know what you do with Mateo Kovacic. Maybe he'll play as the 8. Maybe he'll play deeper as a rotation with Rodri or with Stones. But I don't really know where he fits in.
Okay.
But yeah, he can. I guess he can play as the 8. I just don't think he'll put up the numbers that Gundogan does.
Alright.
But yeah, next up, Bernardo Silva. There's a lot of interest in Bernardo Silva coming from Saudi Arabia. Do you think that's a problem? Do you think he could be swayed?
Oh no.
Well, it seems you might.
Well, he's an idiot then.
Okay. Has he not achieved everything he seeks to achieve in football? What more is he going to win?
Then retire. That's what people do.
But that is retiring, going to Saudi, collecting a bag.
Sure. I keep him out of Man City. I think he's a magical player, wonderful footballer. But if he wants to, stop playing football and go collect money, then that's up to him.
Okay. Yeah, I think he may make that move. I'm sure Pep Guardiola will try to dissuade him, because what he brings to Pep's system is not only a really technically gifted player, but also someone who works incredibly hard both on and off the ball. I think his out of possession work is some of his best stuff. Obviously, Pep loves what Pep loves from a winger is creating that width, getting to the byline, putting the ball in, cutback, stuff like that. He is perfect at that. He keeps that width, and that gives space for the 8s to play. And Gundogan and De Bruyne have that space because the width is created from Bernardo Silva and from Jack Grealish. Then there's that space because the fullbacks have to go out and mark them. If not, you leave Bernardo Silva open, which you can't really do. And that just creates so much space for them to play into, which, Bernardo Silva is exactly what they need on that right wing. I do think he's replaceable for what he does on that right wing.
Yeah.
But you are going to have to replace him with the exact right fit, because Bernardo Silva is that man.
Yeah.
And he wasn't when he joined, actually. He was more of an attack midfielder. He's an attack midfielder by trade, and he can play as those 8s really, really well. But Pep loves to use him out on the right, and I think he's incredible there.
He is.
But yeah, if he does move on, then we have got some suggestions in our improvement section as to how to replace him. Calvin Phillips, then, is adequate.
Yeah, he's fine to just sit and watch.
Yeah, I think he may play more minutes next season. You'd like to think so. He's had a season of watching Rodri, but yeah, only 12 appearances then, 2 starts for Calvin Phillips in the league. But yeah, does qualify for a Premier League medal, of course. Did score in England's recent 7-0 drubbing of North Macedonia. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, he's alright.
I think a lot of people are clowning on him this season because he hasn't played a lot of minutes, because he was struggling with his fitness, but then, 2 years ago, we were in Euro 21 and everyone was heralding him as fantastic and loving that Rice-Phillips pivot. So it just shows how quickly public opinion can change. And I'm hoping he has a good year this year and then goes into the Euros in good form. But
hopefully.
And obviously he will be playing in one of the best sides in the world if he is playing alongside John Stones. If then he is part of that England side.
Yeah.
Well, you'd imagine Grealish will be starting, Foden will be involved. You'll have Phillips, Stones, potentially Walker may stick around, he may leave. But there's a strong English
this City
contingent.
side was.
Well, yeah, and then that's stunning as to why it's not transferable to the national side. The success they have on
but
pitch, and then
it's the same thing we always say, is that when you play under a Pep system, it's very hard to then play out of a Pep system.
Yeah, and we have seen actually that a lot of the best performers in Pep's system don't do well on the international stage.
Yeah.
I mean, look at João Cancelo, he looks lost when he pulls on a Portugal shirt.
I don't have seen him playing in a Portugal shirt.
No, because it gets pulled up after 5 minutes. No. It's an interesting phenomenon, and actually De Bruyne isn't usually... is not at his
not a
usual
world beater.
best when he plays for Belgium. Don't get me wrong, he's still brilliant. It's Kevin De Bruyne,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's as good for Belgium as he is for City. So, are they all just system players? No,
Maybe.
not really. But they are really good.
Yeah, they are quite good at football.
Up next, it is Rodri, who is another unsung hero, really, of this season. A magnificent defensive midfielder. He screens that back three really well, and his link up with John Stones this season has been really impressive. He's so good in possession as well, just being able to shift it about to the more creative players who can create chances. With Sin also, he has a strike on him, as we saw in the Champions League final, of course. So he contributes a lot to Manchester City, an excellent player.
Quality. There's no way to put it. He is just quality.
I don't think there's much of an argument. He is the best DM in the world right now. And potentially, if he continues in his current manner, he will go on to be named amongst those greats. Because he is, as crucial to City as Busquets was to Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I think he's an incredible player. And if he keeps up this performance level, he will go down as one of the best.
Probably.
But I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, he's the best DM in the world right now. Especially with Fabinho having one of the worst campaigns of his life.
Yeah.
And Casemiro obviously left Real. If he stayed at Real, maybe you'd rate him higher.
Like Barca, but that is still Busquets.
He has no left, joining Inter Miami. But yeah, point for another day. Up next, Cole Palmer.
He's fine, isn't he?
Would you give him more minutes next year?
No.
Do you view him as... Because obviously, so Gundogan's gone. So one option to replace that is to replace internally. Because they have got options that they can move into there. So would you be happy with Cole Palmer playing as backup left winger as your second choice? But would you give him more minutes next season? So he's only this season he made 14 appearances, 2 starts, 38 appearances in total though for Manchester City now in his career.
Yeah, give him more minutes. I wouldn't expect him to start week in, week out.
No,
I don't think he's good enough.
But maybe that last Champions League group game, those Carabao Cup games, the FA Cup games, stuff like that. Yeah. The Carabao Cup games against Stoke.
Rather than just sending out like world beaters to go.
But even against if they get anyone in the Carabao Cup, he can play.
Yeah.
He's a really good player. Yeah. And I think alone developing that Pep system, it's going to be, I don't know. Whenever I've watched him play for City, he does seem a little erratic. As we say, though, a lot of young players do when they make that step up. Do you think a loan move is possible?
I wouldn't.
That? No?
The thinness of the squad, and I think he is good enough to play a role.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Maximo Perrone.
He's a baller, isn't he?
He's reportedly an incredible talent. Only made one appearance so far, and he got 18 minutes against somebody. From West Ham. He got 2 minutes in the FA Cup against Bristol City, 18 against Bournemouth in February. But he's not played an awful lot yet. But he is apparently a really good talent. Obviously plays that central midfield role. I guess he'll develop into one of the 8s.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the 6s, but...
I don't know. I think I'm not in Manchester City training every single day.
Yeah, they'll know a lot more than we do. In terms of his
day.
numbers, with Ella Sarsfield, 33 appearances, 3 goals. Potentially a goal scoring midfielder then. It's hard to really say without having watched much of him at Velas. But they're certainly not numbers you expect of a defensive midfielder. No. So possibly a sort of between the two really. Not really a midfielder, not really a defensive midfielder. Plays more centrally, but I don't really know. Maybe he'll play more, possibly loan move, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably, Pep doesn't tend to loan out players he rates.
No.
Up next, it is Riyad Mahrez.
What a bowler.
Again, though, interest coming from Saudi Arabia. Didn't play a huge role this season. Still played an awful lot of football, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he was as crucial as he was in recent years.
What a waste that would be to go to Saudi Arabia.
He is 32.
But he's still absolutely incredible. He's still at the highest level of the game.
He can, but again, it's that question, what is there left for him to achieve? He's won it all.
I don't know. I think I don't have any. I don't think for me it wouldn't matter what he's got to win. You know, he is still an exceptional player. He can be at the top of the game. If he wants to trade that in for a bit of money, then fair enough.
Yeah, be interesting to see. I could see him leaving, but again, City could bring in a replacement.
They could. Oh yeah, definitely.
So, but would you keep him if you could?
Oh, 100%. What a player he is. Absolute weapon from set pieces.
Yeah.
I think he's just so dangerous. He's so dangerous.
He embodies exactly what Pep wants from a winger.
Yeah.
Someone who can stick to that touchline, someone who can not only just get to the byline and cut some back, but also cut inside if need be. So he's got that, multi-dimensional options. He can do what, go this way, go that way from the wing. So that's definitely, that dynamism definitely helps. Yeah. But yeah, Jack Grealish, similar sort of player, and he's been really good this season.
Quality
Quality
football player, and you need a man who can get the party going when you win all your trophies. So you have to keep him.
Designated alcoholic. Yeah, 28.
Maybe get him some help before season starts.
28 Premier League appearances, 5 goals, 7 assists. He really shone, I would say, in the second half of last season. I hope to see him continue in that similar vein next year, and hopefully then be in great form as we head into Euro 24.
Yeah.
Be a really good player. Really rate Jack Grealish highly. And again, he is what Pep loves from a winger, and Pep has really moulded him more this season. Really worked hard with him. I know Jack Grealish spoke in an interview about how he reevaluated himself halfway through this campaign after the World Cup. After the disappointment of the World Cup, he realised maybe he wasn't performing at the standard he wanted, and he really worked hard the second half of the season to perform at a standard, which is sensational. He's been really, really good.
Decent.
Speaking of high standards, up next it is Erling Haaland.
No words. We don't even need to say anything like this, man.
We can't say anything that's not been said 100 times.
Yeah.
35 games, 36 goals in the league, 8 assists as well. To add to that, a shoe-in to everyone's FPL teams.
Well, we'll just sit down.
In the Champions League, he notched up 12 goals in 11 games as well. In total, he has scored 52 goals in 53 Man City
appearances. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
It's been a bit good, hasn't it?
Absolutely disgusting. Mental. It is ridiculous how a man of 22 years of age on the planet of Earth can score that many goals in that many football games.
He's freakishly good, isn't he?
I'm so scared of what he can accomplish.
That's the thing, right? For next season, does he better it? Could he actually do it? Or
does he get 50?
Or second season syndrome? Is he a one season wonder?
No. He's just so.
Is he a BTEC Jamie Vardy?
Every goal to him is so programmed. It's so robotic. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Every time he's thrown goal, bang, goal, overhead kick, doesn't matter. Volley,
he has such an impressive instinct, doesn't he?
On the turn, weak foot, anything, Travella,
his
Rabona.
technique is, I've never seen him hit either of those.
Honestly,
he is a very good finisher.
He could do anything.
He's a perfect combination of pace and power. He has that in equal measure. So if he keeps up his current record, then he's just going to break the Premier League.
He could Eddie Hall off the ball.
He probably could, yeah. And then run away from him quicker, because Eddie Hall's not the quickest.
It's mental.
But yeah, really good player.
Yeah.
But yeah, freakishly good, and I'm sure he'll continue for years to come. A keep for now, though. You do need to be wary. He may look to move on in the next few seasons. I'm sure.
You'll get a £250 million check.
Oh yeah, that would be useful to have. Phil Foden up next.
He's not freakishly good, but he is good.
He's a really talented player.
Yeah, he's quite good.
Yeah, can play on the left wing, can play as one of the eights. Could also do a job on the other flank.
Yeah,
a really talented footballer. And while his contributions have been lessened this season, I'm sure he'll be playing a lot more next year. Still 32 Premier League appearances, 22 of those are starts. 11 goals, 5 assists.
Yeah.
Really impressive. His link up with Haaland as well, especially, I think that's that Manchester derby as a highlight. They both grabbed hat-tricks.
Everyone's link up with Haaland's been brilliant. You could stick me as one of those mates and get 2 assists.
Okay.
Because I just passed the ball to him from 3 yards and run and score.
Calm down, Theo Baker. We've seen the clip of him saying he'll score 7 Premier League goals. That's equality. But yeah. Up next, the final Manchester City player, Julian Alvarez.
I feel so sorry for this man. I feel so bad for him. Because he is probably one of the best strikers in the world right now. But he is so overshadowed by this massive Norwegian geezer.
You'd be fuming, wouldn't you?
Oh,
But
yeah.
he knew what he was joining, obviously.
What does he do? Does he leave and try and challenge him?
No, why'd you leave?
But what does he do?
Be one of the best backups in the world, and then when Haaland leaves to join Real Madrid in 2 seasons, suddenly you're the first choice striker at Man City. Why not?
I just don't. I really
Haaland's
don't
got a
know.
release clause at like 150 mil, doesn't he? 200 mil, something like that. I think.
If he has a release clause, 150 million, Real should unlock that.
But it doesn't.
right
It
now.
doesn't think me until 2024. I think doesn't it?
Okay.
Activate.
1st of July 2024. Activate it now.
What if they're pursuing Mbappe though?
Doesn't matter. Mbappe is so much worse.
No, he's
Not so
not.
much worse.
So much worse.
Haaland is better.
Okay.
But yeah, Alvarez, I feel so bad for him.
I don't. I think he's still a really good player. And he's had a really good season.
He scores over 20 goals in any other team in the Premier League.
Yeah, so 9 goals in 13 starts, but 31 appearances. He's played a lot of football this year. I'm not sure he'll be as upset as you seem to think he'll be.
I'd be distraught.
But he's been really good. He's been really, really
Maybe not
good.
distraught because you have to run treble.
He'll probably be
I'd
alright.
probably be a bit sad.
Crying to your winners' medal.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
I don't think I'll be sad
I
at
can
all.
use the Champions League, Premier League trophy, and the FA Cup
'Cause-
trophy to catch my tears in.
Yeah, and also I think we'll start seeing maybe more as an 8 potentially next
Maybe.
season. Depends
On
who
the
they bring
wing.
in.
Everywhere, up front, Haaland.
Probably not on the wing because he's a bit
on
too
Haaland's
wasted.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Then he could quite a lot
You
of
just
goals.
watch on. But yes, that is the squad keeper sale then. A couple areas to address, mainly wide areas. You've got...
Yeah.
It's a thin squad anyway. If you lose Mahrez and Bernardo Silva, who are both linked with moves away,
Yeah.
that's a big problem. Midfield then, obviously, you want to replace Ilkay Gundogan. Now, while Kovacic is an adequate replacement of sorts, for me, I'd be looking at there's
But
better
I
options.
think the pet effect makes every single footballer at least 1.5 times better than actually ability.
Yeah, and also they've got options because there's two sort of options to replace Gundogan. You either go out and buy an 8, or you replace internally because you do have Phil Foden, who is brilliant and he can play there. So
Yeah.
that could definitely work. Then of course we have some defensive options to look through. They do need to buy defenders because they
do that.
well, don't need to, but they're gonna sell Laporte, and then
Yeah.
they are linked with someone. So we'll talk about him as well. And yeah, that is not a lot else to do after that.
No.
But we'll start then with that defender who they have been heavily linked with for a while now. It is of course Josko Gvardiol.
He's pretty good, isn't he?
He is ridiculous.
He's massive.
Yeah, incredibly tall, very physically dominant, great in the air, great with the ball at his feet for a tall lad as well.
Yeah.
Excellent agility, really quick centre half as well. He does sort of have it all. He's very Ruben Diaz in his profile as well. Their profile quite similarly. And I think if you're looking at next season at back three of Gvardiol, Diaz, Akanji, it's not much better.
No,
There's none better. That is it. There we
Yeah.
go. Football's completed. But yeah, I think Gvardiol is just a really incredible player. Can play
He
left
is.
back,
Yeah.
so then inverting into that back three. I think he'll suit exactly what City are looking to do. So he'll be excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And around that 70, 80 million pound mark.
Money's nothing for him.
It's interesting. Obviously, he had a good deal agreed with Chelsea last summer, but they pulled out of it.
What a silly decision.
But I don't know. I mean, we already had Koulibaly at that time.
Oh.
If we hadn't signed Koulibaly and then just signed Guardiola, I mean, that would have been very good. But yeah, so City linked with him quite heavily. Seems that deal will potentially be done over the next coming days.
Yeah.
One deal that is done and one deal we've spoken about is, of course, Mateo Kovacic then moving into those midfield options. £30 million.
Yeah.
That is a steal.
It is a bit mental how you can just go to a row. That's Bayern-esque.
It is, but that's not because City have dominance over the Premier League. And while they have bought players like Ake and Grealish in the past, it's because Chelsea are having a fire sale.
Yeah.
There's a reason why some of their best players have joined Man United and Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like, that's not just other clubs are able to buy players from their rivals. It's not City being able to buy players from their rivals. It's Chelsea selling
Have
everyone.
just hung everyone out
Yeah.
at the car boot sale, and everyone's just coming along going, "Oh, that's a bargain. That's a bargain. I'll have you, and you."
Yeah, so then looking at some options to replace the 8, if they were to go out into the market and try and replace Ilkay Gundogan, I've listed 2 options here. The first of which is Florian Wirtz, because he's really good. He's really, really good. I have a few question marks around him because obviously he has just come back from a long-term injury, so his numbers this season haven't been great. His goal scoring numbers are also not that high, but when you look at the amount of shots he takes, He actually doesn't take many shots. So, if you raise that volume, surely the goals go up as well, you would expect. So, incredible goal numbers considering how little shots he takes.
When you take
deadly in that sort of position.
a very, very talented footballer and you give him Pep Guardiola, he will unlock that talent and more.
But yeah, can feed the ball through to Haaland, can spray it out wide. Great playmaker. Also got a brilliant eye for goal. He suits exactly what they're looking to replace in Ilkay Gundogan. Does come with a hefty price tag though. Which shouldn't be a problem for Manchester City, but £70 million is going to be quite a lot of money. But I have got a cheaper alternative, and someone that fulfills the English quota, Crystal Palace talent, Ebery Eze. I think he's a really good player.
He is.
What's going to be your qualm?
Is he at the very, very top of... Is he at the pinnacle of world football? Is he that
Not yet,
good?
no.
But will he be that good?
I think he definitely can.
Will he be good enough to win quadruples?
Everything that I see from his game right now suggests that he's as good, if not better, than players, than like Florian Wirtz, for example.
I don't know. I think
he's around that. I think you put him in the same sort of calibre.
I have my doubts.
I think he's a really, really talented player, and the fact that he's put up the numbers he has at Crystal Palace, he profiles really nicely. He's exactly what Guardiola wants as an 8. He's good goal scoring numbers, great assist numbers as well. Really good creator, and I think obviously in that team where he'll be playing with a lot of compatriots, he will gel quite quickly. I think he'll work. That's where the aims. But I do really like Wirtz, but at 70 mil is quite expensive. Eze would be around that 40 mil mark. So.
I think Wirtz is a better option.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Winger options then. If they were to move Foden and play him as well the 8s, that leaves him with one out wide on the left. Obviously Cole Palmer as well, but Jack Grealish starting. On the right, if they lose Silva and Mahrez, that leaves them sort of nothing on the right. So a couple of options to replace there. Well, the first of which has worked with Pep Guardiola before at Bayern Munich. It is Kingsley Coman. He is exactly what Pep loves from a winger. Can create the width really well. Good crossing numbers, which is exactly what you want when you've got Erling Haaland in the box. Great creator, can get to the byline, cutbacks, crosses. He's really good at that. He is going to be around 65 million, can cover both wings. He makes a lot of sense.
Very, very good footballer, and he guarantees you a league title every year.
He does, he has always won the league title, so...
Which is like a mental statistic.
That is pretty crazy.
A league title, and he's not just the same league, that's 2 different leagues. 3 different leagues.
3 different leagues, yeah.
3 of Europe's top 5 leagues.
Liga and PSG. Couple of Serie A for Juve.
That is insanity.
Plenty of Bundesliga.
Very, very good footballer. I could see that happening.
Yeah, Champions League winner, of course, as well. Yeah. So he's got that experience. And he's worked with Pep. So it works. It makes sense. Would be a good signing. Other options then. I have got some other options. First of which is Jeremy Pino.
Ooh.
I really like Jeremy Pino. I think he profiles almost exactly the same as Bernardo Silva. Quite diminutive. Good dribbler. Yeah. Can get to the byline, cross them in, works hard. Can cut inside if you need him to. So practice that Mahrez type. Potentially the fact that he can go either way. Unpredictable. And a good finisher as well. Yeah. Really good finisher if he gets into the right position. So
how much are we talking?
I don't think it'll be that outrageous. Probably. I don't know if he has one. Spain. I can quickly find it. Well, it will be. Yeah, they all are. But I can see.
237 million.
Is that your guess?
Yes.
It may not be public knowledge, of course, but you'd imagine they'll just slap it up really high.
Yeah.
So it can't be reached. 80 million.
That's doable.
I think it's cheaper. I think at 50. I think you get him at 50 mil. And in fact, this even says with Villarreal would think seriously about an offer worth around 50 mil.
Yeah, that is so doable.
I think he's a great player, and he's going to be a great player for the future. He's only 20. I think he's only 21 right now. Koeman, of course, is 29.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, he's 29.
I'll just go double check see if I smashed that. But 27, so a little younger.
Hello.
Now entering his prime, but the thing is, you can get both. Because Koeman could be your backup to both wings, and then that keeps a very thin squad.
Yeah.
And then have Pino as your starter on the right, or Koeman starts on the right, Pino covers, but Koeman could go over to the left, stuff like that. You have frequent rotation there. And then, I do have a final option, which is a bit out of left field, maybe. Rafinha. No, he only joined Barcelona a year ago, but he's exactly what Pep Guardiola wants. A winger who keeps the width, who gets the byline, who is very creative, who loves to put the ball into the box, great crossing numbers, Good finisher as well. Can cut inside, take a shot. I think for me, he profiles really, really nicely.
He does in the league. For me, it just feels like he got his big move and did basically nothing.
But would that mean he's available on
And for me,
discount price?
in a Barcelona side that won the La Liga, and he didn't actually do that much, I would have question marks.
Yeah, I don't know what what his release clause is, but it's probably much more than they would want for him. But yeah, I think you'd probably be the most expensive of the three.
I don't think it's worth it.
No?
I just think, yeah, if he'd done more at Barcelona this year, then...
It's $1 billion. Yeah, so I don't think they actually want $1 billion for him.
City could pay that anyway.
Not while maintaining FFP.
Yeah, they don't buy by the rules anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, there's a lot of options there for Manchester City. I think Gavardio seems like that will happen. Obviously, we know Kovacic is done.
Yeah.
How do you see as the best way to fill the Gundogan hole? Is it by moving Foden across? Is it by bringing in Florian Wirtz? Is it, I don't know, just playing Kovacic there and getting on with it?
I think you have to bring someone in.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Kovacic is good enough to come straight into that and do it straight away. And I think you can get better than Phil Foden. I think Wirtz would be perfect.
Yeah. I mean, you probably still need to replace on the right wing, potentially.
Yeah.
Depending on whether Mahrez or Bernardo Silva or both are to leave the club.
Yeah.
Because I could see Bernardo staying and Mahrez leaving. That seems quite realistic as well. But
One goes, one stays.
Pino, I think, would be a great addition, as would the other players we've listed, of course, Coman. I think Eberezer as well, as he could also cover a wing. Could be quite useful. But yeah, options for Man City to explore then. I'm sure you guys will have a lot to say, so do get involved in the comments down below. Before we sign off, though, shall we do some predictions? Not going to be difficult, but
Is
Premier
it
League.
crazy to call a sextuple?
Maybe. It's quite difficult to pull off. Sounds funny as well.
But Super Cup against Sevilla.
Should win.
Community Shield against United. Is it United?
No, why would it be United?
FA Cup finalists.
No, it's always Arsenal. It's second place in the Premier.
Ah, be Arsenal then.
Never know.
Prem, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Maybe not a sextuple, but I think definitely another treble. Even a quadruple, maybe a quintuple, possibly a sextuple. Yeah, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit.
It very much is. It'll be interesting to see whether Man City can maintain this success as the title suggests. But yeah, that's probably all for today. I think they're going to win the league. I think they're probably going to win the FA Cup. I think they're probably going to win the Carabao Cup.
Probably win the Community Shield. Probably
Probably
win
going to win
the Champions League,
everything.
Probably win the Super Cup.
That's Man City.
Hooray.
But yeah, be interesting to see. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. And if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. Massively helps us out. If you're listening on Spotify, then you can hit follow as well. Doing that massively helps us out. Subscribing on YouTube helps because we're trying to hit 2.5k. Also, it helps push the channel out more and more as you like and view and subscribe, all those good stuff. And following us on Spotify shows us that you're enjoying what we're doing. Because there's not many metrics to see how well we're doing on Spotify. Obviously, we can see downloads, we can see
where you are,
playthroughs and stuff, and we can see some location data.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
A lot of international viewers. Thank you, people. But yeah, we can't really see much, so do make sure to follow. That does show us that you're enjoying what we make. And of course, head on over to the YouTube or any of our other socials. It's just usually at the Football Chat. Or if you search Football Chat, it should come. I think it's sub to TFC. I think it's _ Football Chat _ on Instagram, sub to TFC on Twitter. But yeah, so check those out as well, and feedback there if you wish. But yeah, that is all for today. Keep the conversation going in the comments down below. Make sure to give your thoughts on all the things we suggested, all the players we think should come in, and who should be sold. But that's everything for today. Thank you all very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.